What is up, my friends? It is, what is it today? Tuesday, I guess? And I'm sitting at the dining room table and I'm writing, and it feels really good. I'm really happy with what I've written so far. Today I'm writing about the idea that our ideas and our thoughts, our inspirations, our feelings, our patterns, the way we interact with people, that they're what I call programs. Programs, right? So I'm operating out of the idea that this entire reality is a simulation. I don't know that I necessarily believe that again, that we're stuck in some dude's hard drive in his garage. But I think there's a lot of philosophical things that you can take from the concept of this being a simulation, and so that's kind of where I'm writing from. And one of the elements of this I kind of learned from Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic is the idea that a book idea or a song or a lyric or a movie concept or anything creative comes from this energetic entity that is the idea. That the Greeks had the concept that you were not a genius, but you had a genius. And I think that's an interesting concept. But basically, I am asserting that whenever you are inspired to do something or you have a thought, to do something, that it's a program. Programs can be based on this genius concept of the energy of an idea visiting you, which is kind of woo-woo and spiritual, but I think it's fun. And I think it's also based largely on patterns in history of how you've responded in moments like that. But anyway, I'll give you a little snippet here. We are given programs from an early age. The manners program is a really important one for parents. They get hung up on this program. We have to be polite, which I think it's interesting to note that the root of polite and the root of politics is the exact same. Which I'm not saying be rude. I'm just saying sometimes I think we're a little more polite than we need to be. I think we ramp that program up and let it run more than we should, especially in our close, intimate relationships where we need to be honest about something, but we choose polite. We choose politics instead of honesty. And that is not an excuse to be a dick in service of the idea of, I'm not being polite. I'm honest and raw, because I tend to lean in that direction myself. It's like, I'm just being blunt. My wife called me out on it last night, actually. It was kind of funny. It upset me this much, but it was mostly funny. So I let the upset program go, and I was like, screw that. It's more funny than anything else. And part of this is learning to kind of step into a third-person perspective of yourself. And that's kind of what I'm talking about in this whole concept. Actually, I need to write that down up here in italicized. What did I just say? ADD sucks. Yeah. Step into third person. That third person perspective is really, really powerful, and I'll write more about that later. But that comes from practice, and that comes from meditation. Anyway, so talking about being polite. We all want to be polite. Hell, I've tried to teach my kids the same thing. I'm trying to instill the same programs in my own children. Our 5-year-old was watching a music video, and she commented on how pretty one of the singers was. And then she commented on how ugly the next person on the screen was. How do you explain to your child that they're wrong? They're not wrong for having an opinion, but they're wrong for expressing it. Or was she wrong? Geez. It's a difficult program to get right, but it's one we all try to install one way or another. Religion, political correctness, being a sports fan, the way you see yourself, the way you see others, the way you speak in front of people, the way you speak behind closed doors, the way you react in an argument, the way you feel when someone challenges your belief system. These are all programs that make up our OS, our operating system. The biggest problem I see in our society is how often people mistake their OS and their programs, their beliefs, feelings, and thoughts for themselves, for their self. I think that's what's happening to, they think what's happening to and inside them is them. They think every single program that comes to them is a representation of their being, instead of recognizing the program is running, acknowledging the program, accepting its function, and then making a choice as to whether to allow it to keep running or not. We tend to take our programs personally. So, and then I went on to talk about whenever you have an idea, like in a brainstorm session, it comes to you. It's not you, it's not me, that I am not the idea comes to me. And we could talk for hours about where does that idea come from. And I think there's a lot of fun conversation to have there, but I'm not necessarily going to get into that at this exact juncture, because then that really steps into faith and belief and can kind of have some religious overtones, which I'm fine with in a conversational level. It just doesn't have room in what I'm writing right now, because I want this to be as broad and applicable to as many people as possible. Anyway, I'm the one who's in there choosing whether to chase the idea, whether to share the idea, what to do with the idea, but the idea is not me, and nor should I take it personally. I'm the operator of the machine, of the computer. I am not the programs found therein. If I take my idea personally and I share it and the idea is shot down, perhaps rudely, now I have been shot down rudely. However, if I can recognize the idea as a program that is born out of experiences, patterns, brain chemistry, and a little magic program known as inspiration, and I present the idea as being something that has occurred within my mental space, ideally, we should be able to discuss the idea on its merit rather than on ownership. Discuss the idea on the grounds of the idea and whether it's feasible and whether it can work, and not on the grounds of the one who had the idea occur in their mind. Discussing the idea based on whether it's feasible rather than whose computer the program first ran on. Anyway, so it's all about not taking those programs personally. Because we need to have ownership of our ideas, but not possession. Because if you possess the idea and it's like, this is mine, and if it doesn't come out exactly the way I had it in my head, then it's wrong. You need to be able to step outside of, and again, take ownership of it, just like you would when you adopt a highway. But if you see someone parked on your highway or someone changing the highway you adopted, you have no right to say, hey, stop doing that to my highway. It's like, no. You adopted the highway. You're tending to the highway. You're picking up trash on the highway. You don't own it. Anyway, that analogy breaks down if you look too far into it. But it's all about taking ownership, not possession, and that applies to all these things. So, anyway, I'm going to stop sharing about that for now. But that's what I've been working on today. I don't know if it's typical for someone to share bits of what they're writing as they're writing it for fear that it's going to be stolen. But here's the deal. If I work on all this stuff and someone steals my idea, I don't know why I'm doing this with everything I say, but if someone steals this and they put it out and people eat it up and the idea is successful, that's all I care about, truly. Like, I do want success. I do want all of the trappings that go along with a good idea, with, implementing a good idea. But truthfully, I'm really concerned about everything I'm writing getting out there more than I am about it getting out there with my name on the on the cover. I don't necessarily need that, because for me, this book that I'm working on is one small facet of the whole thing. I don't need to get into all of it right now, but there's an app concept, there's a fund, 501c4 concept, and the way all of that works. There is the app, the fund, there's a community organization, there's a strategy for creating nonpartisan policy. It's huge. This is what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my life. And right now I'm writing. You can also follow the Facebook page, like I've said before, Lawrence Collective, because that's another element of all of this. It's cool. This is really fun. So thanks for watching. Today's been a pretty chill day. Took the oldest to school. The two youngest are in the next room, not screaming and not destroying anything. I don't know what they are doing, but I know what they're not doing. And sometimes it's the most important thing, right? No, I'm kidding. I think my middle child is watching Minecraft videos. Kid is crazy. I love her to death. Anyway, I need to get back to writing because I don't know how much longer I have. Thank you for watching Vlog 7. I think this is what this is. And we'll see you around. We'll keep going with this. Have a good day.